Hi everyone, welcome back to Square Force, where I show you how to fold realistic looking paper airplanes just like this one that are inspired by real life designs and fly great too. So today we're going to be folding the F-5XL. This is a derivative of the last plane that I just put out on my channel, the F-5 Panther. So if you folded that one already, this is going to be a really simple fold, and this is actually going to improve how it flies. This one here was inspired by the F-16XL, which was a derivative of the F-16 Fighting Falcon with this really cool cranked delta wing. Really has a unique look to it. This one, that fold actually improves its stability, so you're really going to be pleased with how this one flies. Let's take a look. Okay, so if you've had a chance to fold the F-5 Panther, which was my last video that was published the previous week, this is all going to be a review for you right up until the steps where we start shaping the wings. But if you haven't had a chance yet, let's start from the beginning. I'll walk you through it. So first things first here, we take our paper, fold it in half. Right down the middle, nice and even, make sure those corners match up there. Then we're going to take that top layer and fold it right back to the center crease, just like that. But we're not going to fold it all the way down, we're just going to make a little pinch. Then we're going to use that point that we just made, that little crease, as a reference to match up with this line. So we're going to fold it over again, right about there. And I always like to just unfold real quick just to make sure that these lines are parallel. I use the top and the bottom edge just to make sure that they're going in the right spots and it's not on an angle. Alright, let me fold that one back over here, and we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side, what was the bottom. We're going to fold it right up and match those corners. Okay, so now our next step here is to fold down. So I have two lines here, two creases. I'm going to make a fold right in the middle of them. So here's where we were with these layers folded over. We're just going to take them the opposite direction and fold right about in the middle. Something like that. And I'll unfold this bottom layer just to check. See, it's always good to double check that these are going parallel with each other, so one wing isn't, slanted in a weird direction. Okay. And now we're going to fold that back over and do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold down roughly halfway between these two lines. And I just match up the corners from the other side, and that should be good. Alright, so now if you follow that along correctly, you should have, if you look at it from the end, kind of a W shape here, where the wings come off straight and then you have a peak in the middle. That's looking good. Okay, so now you have to pick what's going to be the top or the bottom of your aircraft. I'm going to make this blue side of my paper be the upper side, and we want to make sure that these creases are in the right orientation, so that for me, I did that backwards. I'm just going to reverse these creases just so we have the same plane, but I think blue is going to look a little nicer. I'll fold these over again and back down. Okay, so now we're going to start on the bottom of our paper. So take whatever side you want to be the upper surface, flip it over, and then you should have that little reference pinch you made. We'll put that at the front and we'll start folding that in. We're going to fold these corners into our center line, just like that. And this is where it starts to get a little different from the F-5 Panther that we did last week, because we're going to make these wings start at a slightly different place. I'm going to unfold now, and I'm going to take this corner and lay it along the central line, roughly so we get a triangle right there, an equal-sided triangle. And that looks about right. I'm just going to partially crease that down, and then I'm going to fold in on that crease I made before and try to just match up this point with this point. So it looks just a touch off. That's okay, we're very close. And complete these creases now. Now that just makes these wings a little bit smaller than the F-5, the base model F-5. But it doesn't really matter exactly where you put these creases. They'll just change the wing shape slightly. This is just where I like to put them, so they're all matched up right there at a single point. Okay, so now we're going to fold these together and start folding our plane up. We're just going to use those creases that we made earlier and just follow those down. So we're just recreasing these layers. It's going to be very easy since there were already lines there already on the paper. It already sort of wants to fold where you put it before, which is exactly what we want. Other side here, we're going to fold it up and back down right along the line that you already made. All right, that is looking good. So now, just like the F-5, we're going to make these wings a little smaller. So we're going to open them back up, take this edge here, and fold that down to this crease line. So just like so. Fold that in. But then we're going to make that cranked delta shape here. So what we do here is we're going to fold this back out. We're going to take it from this point right here all the way to this back corner where it intersects there. So just like this. It's kind of a trickier fold to get that back corner exactly right, so don't worry if you don't hit it exactly. Just try to get it close so you get this sort of a shape. Okay. So now if you want to lock these layers together a little bit, you could reverse these folds, and that technique is in the F-5 video. It's not strictly necessary, so I'm not going to do it here, but if you're curious what I'm talking about, go ahead, check out the F-5 video when we get to the wings. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to fold this edge into this crease. And then back out again from this corner all the way back to here. All right, so now we're going to fold the wings back down again. Just make sure everything looks good from the upper surface of this plane. And that's looking pretty good. Okay, so once we straighten those wings out, you'll see we've got a different sort of a shape here. A little bit more of a delta wing shape with this complex angles there. Looks really nice. Now, just like the F-5, the rest of the steps are pretty much the same here. We're going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut the tail. So I do a diagonal line from this middle crease here down past the first line and end your cut at the second line here. Something right about there. And then when I fold my wings back up, I'll be able to just pull that tail up so it points straight. Just like that. All right, that's good. If you want to go ahead and lock the layers together a little bit, it will fly a little bit better. If underneath here, you take this flap and fold it over. Once you've cut that tail, you're going to have a little bit of paper that you can fold against the body, just like that. That's just going to help keep those layers tied together, like so. And then we're going to lock the nose together. You can see it's pulling apart a little bit here. So what I do here is I fold it all together, and I take this nose and I push it down right through the center, just like that. And I make sure that starts right here where this angle intersects. And I go back right about to there. There's no exact place where it has to go to, but I like to make sure that this line sort of intersects right there where we have that other line from the paper. But whatever angle you want your cockpit to be at, that looks pretty good. It's up to you. Now, once this is folded here, we're going to get rid of this triangle and use it to lock the nose together. So I squash fold it down, so I pull those layers apart, push it down, then fold it up along the bottom of the plane. So we've got sort of a diamond of paper there that we pull up. And then I'm going to take this triangle and fold it in right into the nose, like that. Okay. So now that got a little bit smaller. We're going to take those and fold them back down now, and just fold them in sort of alongside this bottom edge of the plane, just like that. Take the other one, fold them in a little bit, get some of that paper out of the way, and then all we have to do is take these and tuck them in to this layer. So we just reverse those over, tuck them inside, just like that. Do the same on the other side here, fold them in, and tuck them back into the plane. All right, it's looking good. We are pretty much done here. The very last fold that I would make on this one is very optional, but it's up to you if you'd like to make it look a little bit more like a jet, where you have sort of an engine, a nozzle in the back where the exhaust is going to be coming out. Right now we just have this fold, this angle here. So I push down on the top and I start sort of halfway back in the body, maybe right around this point where this wing comes together here. And I just push down. At the same time I hold these layers together. So when I push down, it flares out, just like that. And I just flatten that down a bit. So if I'm looking at the top, now I have a little bit more three-dimensionality in the back of this plane. If I look from the rear, it looks a little bit more like a jet engine. But that one, very optional, doesn't really affect how it flies too much, just affects how it looks. So that is up to you. Now this one is a very reliable flyer. I really enjoy flying this plane. If anything, just a slight upturn on the tail here, you can just pull that tail up to give these wings just a slight curve upwards, but it really shouldn't need too many adjustments. This is a pretty reliable plane. Enjoy flying this one, and we'll see you back here next week for more plane content. If you've been watching these videos and you want some without any cuts to make a tail, the next one is going to fit that bill for you. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.